Hello, everyone. This is What is Truth Clarified Bible Reading. I'm your host, Angelina Magianis. We are in Exodus 11, and we're reading through chapter 15. Do you have your Bibles ready? Okay, let's begin. God said to Moses, "Yet one plague more will I bring on Pharaoh and on Egypt, and afterwards he will let you go. And when he lets you go, he will surely thrust you out altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let them ask every man of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold." And God gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And more than that, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. And Moses said, "This is what God says. About midnight, I will go out in the middle of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of livestock. There shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there has not been nor shall be any more. But against any of the children of Israel, a dog won't even bark or move its tongue against man or animal, that you may know that God makes a distinction, a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these your servants shall come down to me and bow down themselves to me, saying, 'Get out with all the people who follow you.' And after that I will go out." And he went out from Pharaoh in hot anger. And Yahweh said to Moses, "Pharaoh won't listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt." Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and God hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he didn't let the children of Israel go out of his land. Exodus 12. And God spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month shall be to you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, On the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to their fathers' houses, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too little for a lamb, then he and his neighbor next to his house shall take one according to the number of the souls in the house. According to what everyone can eat, you shall make your count for the lamb. And your lamb shall be without blemish, a male, a year old. You shall take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it at evening. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts, and on the lintel, on the houses in which they shall eat it. They shall eat the flesh in that night, roasted with fire and unleavened bread. They shall eat it with bitter herbs. Don't eat it raw, nor boiled at all with water, but roasted with fire, with its head, its legs, and its inner parts. You shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, but that which remains of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. This is how you shall eat it: with your belt on your waist, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste, quickly. It is God's Passover. For I will go through the land of Egypt in that night, and I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and animal. Against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am God. And the blood shall be to you for a token on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and there shall no plague be on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. This day shall be to you for a memorial, and you shall keep it as a feast to God. Throughout your generations you shall keep it as a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away yeast out of your houses. For whoever eats unleavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. In the first day there shall be to you a holy convocation, and in the 7th day a holy convocation. No kind of work shall be done in them, except that which every man must eat, that only may be done by you. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. Therefore, for in this same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore, you shall observe this day throughout your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread. until the 21st day of the month at evening. 7 days shall there be no yeast found in your houses. For whoever eats that which is leavened, that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a foreigner or one who is born in the land. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations you shall eat unleavened bread. And then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, Draw out and take lambs according to your families, and kill the Passover. You shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning, for God will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts, God will pass over the door and will not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to strike you. You shall observe this thing for an ordinance to you and to your sons forever. It shall happen when you have come to the land which God will give you, according as he has promised, that you shall keep this service. It will happen when your children ask you, What do you mean by this service? That you shall say, It is the sacrifice of God's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, and when he struck the Egyptians and spared our houses. And the people bowed their heads and worshipped. And the children of Israel went and did so, as God had commanded Moses and Aaron. So they did. And it happened at midnight that God struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive, who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, Rise up, get out from among my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve God as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and be gone, and bless me too. And the Egyptians were urgent with the people to send them out of the land in haste quickly, for they said, We are all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes on their shoulders. The children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they asked of the Egyptians for jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and clothing. And God gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they let them have whatever they asked. They spoiled the Egyptians. The children of Israel traveled from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, who were men besides children. A mixed multitude went up also with them, with flocks, herds, and even very much livestock. They baked unleavened cakes of the dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it wasn't leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and couldn't wait. Neither had they prepared for themselves any food. Now the time that the children of Israel lived in Egypt was 430 years. It happened at the end of 430 years, even the same day it happened, that all the armies of God went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed to God for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of God, to be much observed of all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And God said to Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. No foreigner shall eat of it. But every man's servant who was bought for money, when you have circumcised him, then shall he eat of it. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat of it. In one house shall it be eaten. You shall not carry forth anything of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone of it. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall live as a foreigner with you, and will keep the Passover to God, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one who is born in the land. But no uncircumcised person shall eat of it. One law shall be to him who is born at home, and to the stranger who lives as a foreigner among you. All the children of Israel did so. As God commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. And it happened the same day that God brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. Exodus 13. And God spoke to Moses, saying, Sanctify to me all of the firstborn, whatever opens the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of animal. It is mine. Moses said to the people, "Remember this day in which you came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand God brought you out from this place. No leavened bread shall be eaten. This day you go forth in the month of Abib. It shall be when God shall bring you into the land of the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, which he swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast to God. Unleavened bread shall be eaten throughout the 7 days, and no leavened bread shall be seen with you. Neither shall there be yeast seen with you in all your borders. You shall tell your son in that day, saying, It is because of that which God did for me when I came forth out of Egypt. It shall be for a sign to you on your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that the law of God may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand God has brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this ordinance in its season from year to year. It shall be when God shall bring you into the land of the Canaanite, as he swore to you and to your fathers, and shall give it to you, that you shall set apart to God all that opens the womb, and every firstborn which you have that comes from an animal. The males shall be God's. Every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you will not redeem it, then you shall break its neck. And you shall redeem all the firstborn of man among your sons. It shall be when your son asks you in time to come, saying, What is this? That you shall tell him, By strength of hand, God brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage. And it happened, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that God killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of animal. Therefore I sacrifice to God all that opens the womb, being males, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. It shall be for a sign on your hand, and for symbols between your eyes. For by strength of hand God brought us forth out of Egypt. It happened, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God didn't lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, Lest perhaps the people change their minds when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness by the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up armed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had made the children of Israel swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away from here with you. They took their journey from Succoth and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And God went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might go by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night didn't depart from before the people. Exodus 14. God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they turn back and encamp before Pihahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, before Baal Zephon. You shall encamp opposite it by the sea. Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will follow after them. And I will get honor over Pharaoh and over all his armies. And the Egyptians shall know that I am God. They did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was changed toward the people. And they said, What is this that we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us? He prepared his chariot and took his army with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over all of them. And God hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. For the children of Israel went out with a high hand, and the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea, beside Pihahiroth, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they were very afraid. And the children of Israel called out to God, and they said to Moses, Because there was no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you treated us this way, to bring us forth out of Egypt? Isn't this the word that we spoke to you in Egypt, saying, Leave us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it were better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, Don't be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of God, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians who you have seen today, you shall never see them again. God will fight for you, and you shall be still. And God said to Moses, Why do you cry out to me? You speak to the children of Israel that they go forward. Lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go up into the midst of the sea on dry ground. Behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall go in after them. And I will get myself honor over Pharaoh, and over all his armies, over his chariots, and over his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am God, when I have gotten myself honor over Pharaoh, over his chariots, and over his horsemen. The angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. And there was the cloud and the darkness, yet gave it light by night, and the one didn't come near the other all the night. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and God caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night. And it made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. The children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. The Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the middle of the sea, all of Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it happened in the morning watch that God looked out on the Egyptian army through the pillar of fire and of cloud and confused the Egyptian army. He took off their chariot wheels, and they drove them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let's flee from the face of Israel, for God fights for them against the Egyptians. And God said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come again on the Egyptians, on their chariots, and on their horsemen. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And God overthrew the Egyptians in the middle of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, even all Pharaoh's army that went in after them into the sea. And there remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And so God saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Israel saw the great work which God did to the Egyptians, and the people feared God, and they believed in God and in his servant Moses. Exodus 15. And then Moses and the children of Israel sang this song to God and said, I will sing to God, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. God is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. This is my God, and I will praise him. My father's God, and I will exalt him. God is a man of war. God is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea. His chosen captains are sunk in the Red Sea. The deeps cover them. They went down into the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Yahweh, is glorious in power. Your right hand, God, dashes the enemy in pieces. In the greatness of your excellency, you overthrow those who rise up against you. You send forth your wrath. It consumes them as stubble. With the blasts of your nostrils, the waters were piled up. The flood stood upright as a heap. The deeps were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My desire shall be satisfied on them. I will draw my sword. My hand shall destroy them. You blew with your wind. The sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, God, among the gods? Who is like you, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? You stretched out your right hand. The earth swallowed them. You and your loving kindness have led the people that you have redeemed. You have guided them in your strength to your holy habitation. The peoples have heard, they tremble. Pangs have taken hold on the inhabitants of Philistia. Then the chiefs of Edom were dismayed. Trembling takes hold of the mighty men of Moab. All the inhabitants of Canaan are melted away. Terror and dread falls on them. By the greatness of your arm, they are as still as a stone until your people pass over. God, until the people pass over who you have purchased. You shall bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, the place, God, which you have made for yourself to dwell in, the sanctuary, Lord, which your hands have established. Yahweh shall reign forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and God brought back the waters of the sea on them. But the children of Israel walked on dry land in the middle of the sea. Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women went out after her with tambourines and with dances. Miriam answered them, "Sing to Yahweh, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea." Moses led Israel onward from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they couldn't drink from the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore its name was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" And then he cried to God, and God showed him a tree, and he threw it into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. And there he made a statute and an ordinance for them, and there he tested them. And he said, "If you will diligently listen to the voice of God, your God, and will do that which is right in his eyes, and will pay attention to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you, which I have put on the Egyptians. For I am God, Yahweh, who heals you." And they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. Amen. That's the end of Exodus chapter 15.